I'm only one drink away from the devil. I'm only one call away from home.
Welcome to the Cutty and Govy Show. Well, folks, we are on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, formerly known as Twitter, which is now X. So we are going through a little process of rebranding. When you go to find us on any of these social media outlets, it's going to be called the Cutty and Govy. One word, Cutty and Govy. We had a difficult time with Bandage because some of the social media platforms would only allow us to go on Bandage. Some were on Bandage Pod, some were on Bandage Podcast. Now we're just Cutty and Govy, and we're coming up with a new logo with Govy and I sitting on the beach and smoking a cigar. We'll have that next week. Anyway, we wanted to start the show this week with telling everybody to search for us on the Cutty and Govy, one word, Cutty and Govy. And hopefully our 83,000 listeners, 83,000 and change listeners will, follow us there. So, Govy, you're following this guy, Oliver Anthony. It's unbelievable. He's blowing up. I think he has 17 million followers now, and it's just an unbelievable story.
It's a great story. I mean, it's funny. He came out of nowhere. Just basically, it's not really country music. It's not country music like Nashville. It's like more bluegrass music, and and he just turned down $8 million. He made a song about the rich men north of Richmond, and it's basically about the politicians in Washington, and it's not doing anything for
the greedy politicians in Washington.
Right. And he lives off the grid. He turned down the money because that's not the answer. He was basically, he's making $14 an hour working as like jobs, different factory jobs. And he's a great success story because he's speaking from the heart and his experiences. And he was, the country is just resonating with what he has to say and his song. It's a great story.
Well, I think, the story's a great story, but the challenge is going to be his song, and everybody should Google his song. Has a couple curse words in it. So I don't know how that works on radio stations and what have you.
Well, satellite radio
he uses the word bullshit.
Right, but satellite radio works, and that's okay. It's it's just funny how someone can come up with a song that resonates with a lot of people in the country, at least half the country, and how you can see other people have to turn it so political where they're bashing him. They're bashing a guy making $14 an hour that that he's picking on overweight people. That's not the intention. They're just slamming everything that he does. That's part of the problem that we're having in politics today, that we can't get. How do we everybody get together? How can we look at a situation and everybody can come together without it being a side, no matter what? It's even coming down to the schools right now, going on in what's taking place in New Jersey with Governor Murphy and other things, where they want to have they want to take away that the parents know what their kids are doing in school. It's like you never thought you would have to go to a court, like they're taking them to court to know, like, if your kid wants to like turn like transgender in school, the school feels that they don't have to tell you, and doesn't have to tell the parents. Yet they feel obligated to tell a parent if they're giving their kid an Advil. Now, does that make sense?
Well, nothing seems to make sense anymore. I'm following this story where the Janet Yellen, who's Secretary of the Treasury, in charge of the monetary system besides the Federal Reserve for the United States of America. She's over at China. And it was kind of odd when she bowed like 6 times to the guy. I mean, she went like this six
Yeah.
times. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with her? Why is she bowing so much? Well, all
She
of a
had
sudden,
16 hours for someone to tell her you don't do that. I mean, it wasn't like
right. But all of a sudden, the news accounts are coming out. She ate dinner and they served her magic mushrooms. Now, for those of you who don't know what magic mushrooms are, and Gavi and I are very familiar with them from our
Grateful
early
Dead. Grateful Dead
yeah, from our
experiences.
early days, but it's a hallucinogenic. This is the woman in charge of all our monetary policies in the United States of America. She's in China. They're giving her an hallucinogenic. What does Joe Biden do? He did the same thing as he did with the balloon. Nothing. I mean, to me, that's an act of war, don't you think? I mean, you know,
It really is kind of bizarre. I mean, you know, the balloon just looks so much bigger to Yellen now. Once she got there and she had that dinner with the magic mushrooms, that balloon looked huge to her. It looked like Jupiter. You know, it was tremendous, and it's like unbelievable that you could actually serve somebody a hallucinogenic and then like talk like politics with them, and it's unheard of. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if they did that to Donald Trump's, secretary?
yeah, if Donald Trump was president of the United States, the guy would have completely ape shit. I mean, I remember back in the day when allegedly I might have done some magic mushrooms. I wasn't right for 3 days. I mean, they said she was normal. There's just no way she was normal. And
She was artistic. She must have been artistic. I don't know what she was doing over there.
It's just another political story. I mean, we're trying to like move our podcast a little away from politics. It's just such juicy stuff. Like, is Trump going to debate? Do we know if he's going to debate? I mean, the Republican debate is Tuesday night. You have Chris Christie. Now, Chris Christie, when he walks around with his jacket off, I want to say to him, yo, Chris, not a good look. I mean, put the jacket back on, all right? You look a little better. It's a nice suit.
I thought he had lap band surgery. I really did, but I guess he didn't.
Maybe the lap band snapped or something, because he's been spending a lot of time on the boardwalk eating pizza and popcorn, and maybe I don't know. He looks bigger than he's ever been. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, he's embracing it. I think he's embracing it right now, and that's like a base that he wants to resonate with. It's but that's I think that Trump is not going to debate, and I don't blame him. I mean, he can debate on the next one. You gotta let the field shrink down a little bit. I mean, Donald Trump doesn't belong on a stage with 16 other people or 12 other people. I mean, it's just going to be an attack session on him because they're all going to want to go after the front runner. Let Trump let the other guys do their thing, and then it should, after the first debate, honestly, it should go down to like 5 people, and then Trump can come on there and make the mark, and this way it gives everybody else an opportunity to, without Trump there, and if they're smart, they don't even really go against Donald Trump, they just talk what they want to do, and that way you'll get to see that there's some really good people out there, and let them rise to the top, and then give Donald Trump some real competition, and let the chips fall where they are.
Well, it looks like the polls are changing. DeSantis is down to 16%. He's redoing his whole campaign staff. He blew all his money, so he cut most of his campaign staff down.
And he just leaked. Did you see the thing that I think he leaked it out, if it's true or not, that on the debate they gave a game plan. Like, he actually had a game plan, and he leaked it to the media of what he's going to discuss. And the thing that he's doing is he is not attacking Donald Trump. He's actually going to go and protect Donald Trump from Chris Christie, and that's who he's attacking. That's who's going to be one of the things. I mean, I don't know what benefits DeSantis to say that up front. I mean, just let the debate come to it.
You have this other guy that seems to be defending Trump. How do you say his name? Hassani or whatever.
Yeah, I like him. I happen to like him. He just is a little off on a couple.
Years old.
Yeah, he's off on a couple things. I mean, like way off, I think. But other than that, the other 95%, I kind of like him, and I like Scott.
Yeah, Tim Scott's amazing.
He's
I
going to
think
rise.
Tim Scott really could be a winner here. He has a good message.
I
Um,
think he could be.
and
I think anybody who wins, if it's not him, they ask him to be the vice president. I think he's like aligned himself up with everybody that I think he could be the vice president for all the candidates.
right, and he speaks so smoothly. He's a very smart guy. He's been in the Senate, and he has a lot of good experience. So, but since we're on this, let's talk about this economy. We have mortgage rates now that are over 7%. The housing market's going to slow down. You're going to have car sales, if they're not already slowing down some more. The economy, gas is going up, inflation is coming back. Do people at the time of the election, are they going to vote their pocketbook because of all these problems? It's not affordable to buy a house. It's tougher to get a car because the interest rate is more expensive. Are people going to vote that, or are they going to vote like the midterms on the abortion issue? I mean, the abortion issue for the Republicans are a really tough issue.
Well, I think what Republicans have to do on the abortion issue is they have to explain their stance a little bit better. And without the mainstream media, it really is hard to do. So, for instance, there's a gray area with the abortion rule right now. The Supreme Court kicked it back to the states, so every state can do their own choice. So, but the question that you have to say is, if you said, should you be allowed to have an abortion 1 week before your due date? I would say that probably more than 90% of all people would say that's a little too late. Have the baby, put it up for adoption. There's a need for kids that people would like to adopt. And I think people could agree on that. I think that if you said that you have to, there's no abortion at all, or if it's 5 weeks, I think that that's probably too soon because, some women don't even know that they're pregnant until maybe the 8th week. So is there a happy medium? Is there 15 weeks? Is it 20 weeks? It's something that we should be discussing. It shouldn't be all or nothing. It shouldn't be, it's either yes or no. And then if they come down to the abortion that you can have, let's say that it's legal in a lot of states at 15 weeks or 20 weeks. And if you needed to have an abortion in the 8th month, I'm sure there's a state out there. They'll maybe be New York. It could be California. It could be Illinois that are more of your liberal states that you have an abortion in your 8th month. It's up to the states to decide. But I think that the Republicans have to get off that issue, talk about the economy. And, when Joe Biden gets out there and he starts talking about Bidenomics and telling you how good you feel, I mean, it's kind of funny when he whispers, aren't you feeling great? It's working.
Yeah, I mean, he does that all the time.
And he says, it's working. And you want to say, it's not working. I just came from the supermarket. I filled up my car. It's not working. And I don't know why everybody, the home prices have gone up. People's credit cards are getting maxed out. And plus, they're now paying interest on it. Prices at the supermarkets are high. Gas is only going to go up because we have no reserves. So, I mean, for someone to tell you that you're feeling good, I think that they just have no pulse of what the country's going through. They know they're not feeling well. So, that's the crazy part. And just to say one thing.
How about this whole immigrant thing? New York announced they're spending $140,000 per immigrant. And our federal government is giving $700 to each person in Maui. We're spending $140,000 on immigrants, and if your house is burned down in Maui,
and you lost your job, and you have no clothes, and you have nothing, you have absolutely zero. He's giving a household $700, which is $700 more than East Palestine in Ohio that he gave. But it's the crazy part is. That's where, besides the economy, where everybody's feeling the pinch, and Joe Biden's telling you how great you're doing, just like you said with the immigrants, it's going to get to a point where, besides people are fed up with the $140,000 you're giving the illegal immigrants, say in New York and other cities, how does he look you in the eye and say, "I need another $40 billion for Ukraine"? At what point does the United States say, We can't afford Ukraine because they're one paycheck away that they're like bankrupting everybody. They only have sometimes like enough for $400. So he's asking for money for Ukraine. He wants to give immigrants. He's giving nothing to Maui. He gave nothing to East Palestine. When does America come first? Like, I think most people would say, build up Maui and let's take care of them. If Ukraine has to wait, tell Europe to step up to the plate and take care of them. It's on their doorstep. Right now, the United States, we don't even know where the money's going in Ukraine. I think they have to be accountable for where they're spending the money. And that's a problem.
Yeah, and everything now is just so expensive. I'm up north now, and I took my kids out to dinner the other night over here to this place they're opening in Boca Raton called Eddie V's. And Eddie V's has live jazz music, and I don't know whether they pad the bill for live jazz music. And, everybody has things that annoy you. So I pull into the parking lot. It's a Sunday night, and most of the spots, maybe there's 20 spots left, and the valet's got a cone in front of those 20 spots. I said, all right. I mean, this valet's going to shake me down. I was going to park my own car, and he's not going to let me park in a spot for free. He wants money from me. So on top of your expensive dinner, you're now paying for the valet. So now I go in and I sit down at the bar, and I'm trying to down a drink before my kids come in, so they're counting my drinks. So I'm trying to get one. What? I'm trying to get one under my belt before they walk in. And the bartender's busy with the people at the other end of the bar telling them about how his vacation was down at the shore. Well, I don't really care how his vacation was. I want to have a drink.
Right.
So finally, he comes over to me at about the same time my kids come in. So now they see round one, right? So now we finally sit down at dinner. We sit down at dinner and we order dinner. And after about 45 minutes, the waitress comes over and says, I'm really sorry for the delay tonight. There's a party at 18. And I'm like saying, how's that my fucking problem? I mean, that's the restaurant's problem. I'm here to eat dinner. The fact that there's a party of 18.
The fact that she told you that you're behind a party of 18, like, why did she even have to tell you that?
Yeah, I'm like, really? And then, of course, it just seems to happen to me. Tell me if it happens to you, Gavi. Whenever you're ready for your check, it's almost like the waitress is now it's time for her to go take a shit. I mean, she's gone for a half hour. You can't find her anywhere. You're ready to leave. You're done. And you're sitting there and, you don't see your waitress for a half hour. And then the bill comes and it's an astronomical amount of money. I mean, you're talking about $150 a person for, okay, restaurant food. It's not like the, New York top 10.
They're going to have a tough time in Boca Raton because people in Boca Raton, they go out to dinner 4 nights a week and nobody wants to pay that type of money for just one of their 4 nights. So that's a problem with that expense. As far as valet goes, I'm immune to it down here in Florida. Everybody has valet. I mean, you can go to the supermarket here, to Publix, and they have valet parking. I love when the valet always says to me, for an extra $20, I'll keep you up front. And I basically think, I'm not getting the car. Like, I have all day. You want to, park it 2 miles away? I can wait here. I mean, why am I paying him $20 so he only has 2 feet to go? I mean, that's the funny thing down here. I'm not getting the car, so...
my lot was full, and I pull up in a 4-year-old Cadillac. And I did get it washed that day, which is $24. It's a lot of money to wash a car. And, I get out of my car. I thought I looked pretty nice. I don't know. I was wearing a nice pair of jeans and whatever. He says, I'll leave it up front. Same thing as you. I'm like, it's a 4-year-old car, pal. You don't have to leave it up front. Put it in the lot. I mean, you don't have to, and there's a funny story. There's this really cheap guy at my golf course, and I'm friendly with the valets up there. You have to valet your car. And I said, why is that guy, Carl, always get his car right up front? And he says to me, well, he doesn't tip. And when a guy doesn't tip, you don't want to have to run too far for your car. It's like, really? But anyway, let's go back
You know,
to
I'll
this
tell you what,
Valet.
I told the valets down here, I gave them an idea because one of my pet peeves is, you know, when they bring the car up for you and the person's not standing out there, they're back inside having like one more drink. So now the car and the valet's just waiting to give the keys over.
Yeah, in the front.
And
Yeah.
he's not there. I told them they should develop a penalty box, like sort of like in hockey where you put, and they should put the car into these like little like velvet rope things. So when the guy comes back out and he says, "Where's my car?" They say, "Well, it's in the penalty box. That's where you couldn't wait here 2 minutes to get your car, and now everybody else has to wait. So you'll have to wait for us to get some other cars, and we'll release your." It's like a 2-minute penalty. That's what they should
Well, what
do.
do they do? What do they do? Text for their car from the bar? They sit at the bar.
No,
and text
sometimes like at some of the places here, they go out, they hand their ticket in, they think that they're, fifth in line, so then they go back inside, and then they kind of forget how long it is. So now when they bring the car up, the valet's just waiting for the person to come out. And they're inside, and the valet's waiting for them. People are waiting. Cars can't get past them. And I just said, can't you just pull his car up and put it into the penalty box? And when he comes out, you just say that you got to pay the price now. It's cost you 5 minutes. That's
Now, what do you think? What do you think for the average person a tip for a valet is? $2, $5, $10?
It depends. What I have now done, because I have this friend, his name is Richard Hamilton. He told me, go
The
to the
famous basketball player?
basketball player. He says, go to the bank.
Yeah.
And he said, get $2 bills. And I said, really? He said, they love them. So I went to the bank and I get like $100 worth of $2 bills. So I just give out $2 bills for every where I have to go. And it's funny. Was giving a guy $3 for like coming up. And it's valets actually included, but I'm giving him $3, and all of a sudden he sees my $2. He says, "Can I have the 2?" I said, "Sure." And then as soon as I
You're
saw
saving
that,
money.
I thought, you know what? I'll just give $2 to everybody, a $2 bill. Everybody comments that they liked it. A lot of people don't even know that they make $2 bills, which is kind of funny.
I thought they stopped making them.
No, they make them.
They still make them.
Yeah. So when if you go to the
I'm-
beach
I'm
club,
just-
you're giving out you're giving out like the dancing bellman. You're giving out $2 to like so many
Oh,
people.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
But I have a
mean,
question
when
for you. With hurricane season coming here right now, I said to my wife the other day, I'm going to have to start, when my car gets down to quarter of a tank, I'm going to have to like fill it up. That just because you never know. And she told me that I'm crazy that she always fills up her car even all during long at half a tank. And I'm going, half a tank? And she thought I'm in the minority that I told her that I don't even fill up my car until the light comes on. And then that gives you 50 miles. And then I usually wait until like 15 miles. And at 15 miles, I'll fill up my car. And it's funny that she's telling me that I'm in the minority. And I think that those lights are pretty accurate.
Well, you're very trusting. You're assuming the light is accurate, but I'm with you. I wait till at least a quarter or maybe a little less. Like stopping in a gas station. First of all, I would say 50% of the time I spill gas on me. So, yeah. So I'm always leery of, if I'm going to a luncheon or a dinner, like not to fill the tank up, because there's a good chance I'm going to step on gas, get gas on my shoe or something. So I wait for the opportune minute, like coming home from the gym or something, where who cares? You stink anyway if you pour gasoline.
What's funny
I
is
wait.
they had the CEO of Ford. He decided to take the ride on Route 66 with his electric vehicle F-150. It didn't go so well for him. He now gets to see what the American people are talking about. It took him 40 minutes to only put in 40% of his tank in one of the charging stations. So unless people...
Did he have to wait in line for a charging station, or he got right in?
On a couple of them, he had to wait. And
Yeah.
one in Carmel, California or something, it worked pretty smooth for him. But when he went back up north after the Route 66, but he said that we're not ready for it. He's basically telling the country that we're going too fast. And again, that's where everybody can agree in this country. Everybody can agree that we got to go maybe away from, we're just not ready yet. And for him to sit there and say, like, I don't know, if I was ever driving somewhere, like, say, from Philadelphia to Maine or New York to Maine, I don't want to sit there and, like, have to wait an hour and a half to maybe fill up or, energize my car. And, I couldn't do that. It's just, we're not ready for that. I just want to put the gas in the car and go.
Well, do you think it's like kind of like George W. Bush when he took over Iraq? After he took it over, he didn't know what to do with it. I think Colin Powell said to him, if you break it, you own it. It's like when they came out with all these electric cars like Tesla. Do you think they anticipated the charger station need? I mean, is the charger state? I know there's all these public companies now trying to ramp up. But with all these electric cars coming out, are there enough charging stations? I mean, let's say 30% of America lives in apartment buildings. Well, you can't charge your car unless there's a charge port at the apartment building. Not everybody has a house that they can afford a charger to put in their house.
And I'm not quite sure, it's just something I heard, but I'm not quite sure that is every charger the same? Like, how your iPhone takes a different charger than, like, maybe if you're on an Android?
Yeah.
So I think Tesla has their own charging. So if you have, like, a Ford, I don't know if you could use the Tesla charging station. So
it's not like in Europe where you get an adapter you can put on,
I'm not sure, but that would really frustrate. I mean,
let's invent that, an adapter for a Tesla charger.
Because, Tesla's building his own charging stations. So I don't think he's going to go through the expense of making his stations for a Ford to come in there and use his charging station. He would want it only for his Teslas.
Well, that's also a good idea, Gavi. Back on the valet thing, maybe you put charging stations in these busy restaurants for the valet. Hey, buddy, for $5 more, I'll charge your Tesla, or $10 more while you're enjoying your $400 dinner in there. I'll stick your car on a charge.
Are you becoming the problem solver this week?
I'm gonna vet this, but I want to get back to that valet thing because I want to segue into Nordstrom and bumps in LA, but do you think this valet thing now is also a security thing because you're driving right up to the front? We are in Philadelphia here. I mean, people are dying left and right. Thank God there's no manhunt outside my house today, but do you think it's a security thing? You're driving under a porte-cochere, you're getting right out, the woman has her fancy pocketbook, the guy, whatever, and you walk right into the door. I mean, you're seeing what's going on in Nordstrom's in LA.
I do. I look at valet. I look at valet like you're buying insurance. First of all, you're insured that if someone hits your car. So if you park your car in a lot somewhere and then someone hits your car, you're basically responsible if no one puts a note on it. It goes against your own. So now you're actually, every time you valet it, it's like you're just buying insurance on your car for that evening. That's how I look at it.
I'm going to take the other side of this issue. My cologne is missing out of my car after the valet was in it, right? I have nice cologne. I like to, I smoke cigars. I like to put cologne on, to douse the cigar smoke. And
that's funny. He took your cologne?
He stole my thing of cologne. I mean, it was in the car on my way there. I used it, and I walked out of the restaurant because I had a couple cocktails. I figure I'll put a little cologne on. If I get pulled over, at least I smell good. The cop's not going to, smell my alcohol. And that was going. Also, are you a germaphobe? Some guys all sweaty, valet parking cars, running like crazies in your car. He's touching your steering wheel. I mean, doesn't that skeeve you a little?
A little. What bothers me the most is when they change your radio station. Like, why are you changing someone's radio station? I understand sometimes the seat can go up and back and you can do it, but they have a memory. But when they change your station, you're thinking, where did he take your car? Like, how long of a ride is it for him to park your car that he changes your station? When I'm on Saturday, sometimes I'm on channel 23, which is a Grateful Dead station, and the next thing I know, I'm listening to I'm listening to pop or some other show.
What is it? What is he smoking a joint in your car?
I have no idea why someone would change your station.
Hey, this is a nice car. I'm going to sit in the air conditioning in this car,
but smell good according to you, and then smell good with your cologne.
Now, you're driving a nice car. This guy's sweating profusely. He's dripping all over your steering wheel. It's like these restaurants that have these open kitchens. Okay, I understand the concept. I don't really need to see the guy cooking my food. I don't care what kind of outfit you put him in.
I
He's
agree with
sweating
you.
like crazy.
I agree. You know what? It was a great concept when it first came out, when you saw your first open kitchen. But now every kitchen is open. And if you ever get to a restaurant like at 10 o'clock at night and the guy's like making steaks or something, that guy is working hard. He's sweating now. I'm like, his bandana is dripping wet that he has around his head. I agree with you. I don't need to see it anymore.
It's like you're sitting at the light next to a guy and he's picking his nose, and you're like looking at him, and like I'm saying, well, what's that guy after he picks his nose? What's he going to do with that? I mean, is he going to roll it up? Is he going to throw it out?
There are rollers out there, because I sometimes in my rear view mirror I see a guy doing that, or a girl. A lot of girls are doing it, and they're rollers.
I didn't know that girls pick their noses.
They're rollers and they're flickers.
Really?
Yeah.
How about eaters? Are there eaters?
I don't know. Can't say that much, but I mean, you see it.
Right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I mean, it was like I went for my annual physical checkup, and the doctor said, "Let me look in your ears." I'm like, "Why is he looking in my ears?" After every shower, I use the Q-tip, and he said, "Well, the Q-tip pushes the wax into the back of your ear." I said, "Well, there's no wax in my ear." I could have made a candle out of what he pulled down in my ear.
Wow.
I'm like sitting, yeah.
You must hear better.
And I'm like saying to myself, let me have that here. I mean, let's not dispose of that. I made that in my body, let me see what it looks like. But let's get over to Nordstrom's in LA and all these cities. I mean, how's this going to work? I mean, now they're doing smash and grabs on cars. They're just breaking windows in cars, and
they can't. The problem that you have is it goes to the district attorney. I don't care how many times you arrest them. If you're not going to put them in jail or you're not going to do anything, then what's the difference if you arrest them? It takes 2 seconds. There's a famous store in San Francisco called Gum's. They've been around for 160 years.
Wow. Is it a clothing store?
No, it's a high-end, they sell gifts, jewelry, but it's, trays, crystal, things like that. It's just been around for 160 years. In a really nice area by Union Square, I guess, up in San Francisco. And the owner's they're thinking of moving, because right outside their door is where everybody's shooting up. Cars that pull in front, you have to leave your trunk and your windows down so no one smashes your window. It's how about San Francisco now? There's a person out there who happens to be, I think, a part of their city council. He's making money selling tours, and the tours are jammed. Like, he's sold out, that they're taking you on an excursion to the neighborhoods to show tourists how the people are shooting up in their own eyes, so that he can take them to show you.
Well, I'd like to see that. I would do that. I'd be really curious if I was in a bulletproof, secure car or whatever it is. No, I'm serious.
I think it's a walking tour, though. I think it's a walking tour. Would you do that?
I wouldn't do a walking tour, but I would be curious to drive through Kensington in Philadelphia and see what the other side of the world looks like. It's not like it's like a third world country.
But that's basically getting in your car here and driving through Lion Country Safari, where the animals are out there and they can come up to your windows. I mean, you got to stay in your car if you're going to do it. Every now and then you get a loose rhinoceros or a monkey that can climb on your car and do things. Here, I mean, in Kensington, you got to be nervous. You got to be nervous that someone, doesn't smash your car. I wouldn't even want to attempt it. I just think they got to clean it up.
Well, I remember last year when my son graduated at University of Pennsylvania, we went to a couple nighttime events that's in Center City, and coming back out to the suburbs, my daughter was driving, and we had to drive through the Badlands of Philly, really, really bad. and the street was riddled with potholes everywhere. And she's going fast and goes over a pothole and blows out a tire. You're like in like the worst part of Philly. And I said, honey, I don't care if sparks start flying out of this car. We're not stopping. And we drove on that rim for like 12 miles, to get to,
Well,
I
you
mean,
gave
we
her
were-
fatherly advice. Hopefully one day,
no, we're not stopping.
yeah, there's no way you stop. You stop and it's like
Nah,
nothing
who
good
cares
can come.
about the car? It's insured, right?
Right.
And we weren't stopping. But anyway, I would be curious, how, I mean, maybe Joe Biden should go on that tour and see what's happening to America. And
We're having a
he's
tough
at
time.
Rehoboth Beach.
We're having a tough no, actually after that, he decided he had enough of the beach and he wants to see a little bit of the mountains. So he's on his way to Lake Tahoe for this week. And what's
How's
interesting,
the guy have the energy for this?
I don't think there's a lot of movement going to Lake Tahoe, but I think Hunter said to him, I think, Dad, we should go to Hawaii to see Maui because they have some really good weed there. So let's.
Oh yeah, great weed down
So
there.
let me catch a ride, and I know you got to visit because I think he's going there on Monday to visit. And what's interesting is, there's hurricanes that are hitting San Diego right now, and maybe Los Angeles. It's going to probably be a tropical storm, which they haven't had since 1939 or so. But no one tells you. The good news could be like, isn't Lake Mead by like Vegas and everything? Isn't that really low? And like, don't they need the rain? Like, what if we can get a year's rain in 3 days? Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Well, we need that Indian to do the rain dance. The guy that did the rain dance.
Right, up in Vermont, we need Ben and Jerry's. We need Ben and
Right.
Jerry
Ben
flying
and Jerry's rain dance.
Right, and what's crazy is what no one has mentioned. Is August is a huge fire season for California. Every year we have fires there that go like crazy. Well, all the climate people right now, how come we haven't had a fire in California? I mean, they're in Canada, but how come we haven't had a major forest fire in California?
What's the reason? No rain.
Well, I think maybe they had rain. I think they had snow.
Right.
And the snow from this past winter made the ground maybe a little more moist than it used to be, but there's no fires this year in California like they used to have. It was in Hawaii by the way, the guy stepped down from Hawaii, the guy that was in charge.
I'm just curious, your opinion. It seems like every shot of Joe Biden on vacation, they have him riding his bicycle. Now, how far do you think he rides that bicycle to get that shot? 100 yards or 50 yards? It's not like he's riding it for miles. It's like 500 feet or something. And, he says to the crooked press, look, just photograph Joe Biden. He's going to get on his bike. The Secret Service is going to help him on his bike. And we 500 feet.
I think he thinks that it's important to do it to relate to the younger people that he's in shape. Like when you see him walk, do you ever see him give that little 2-second jog? Like he gives that.
Yeah.
He always does that 2-second jog. But like he does everything. But meanwhile, he can't get off of a stage. It's like
he's tripping a lot.
No, he doesn't know left or right. Like he has a really tough time. He's shaking hands. Like
he has the Boca Shuffle.
He does. So someone asked the question, and I had to think about it for a second. They said, if Joe Biden had to run a gas station right now, do you think he could run a gas station, like a business? Like if someone said, you're in charge, Joe, of this gas station, it's only one, you don't have several. Can Joe Biden run it? Like make sure the gas is there, order it.
Are the prices on the sign digital, or he has to go up there with the tool and change the?
Someone maybe has to that works for him, but he's the guy in charge. He's the guy in charge of placing the order for the gasoline, making sure if he sells candy or air freshener inside, or he has to run the gas station, all the ordering, inventory, stocking it. If he's running low, do you think he's capable of running a store?
Well, I'm going to say yes. Look at his history. He made an average salary of $140,000 a year. He was in the Senate his whole life. His wife was a school teacher, and now he's got $20 million worth of personal houses. So somehow he was able to manage that money that he made on a senator's salary to get $20 million worth
Yeah.
of real estate. So he would sell gas for $3.80 a gallon and make $4 a gallon on it. I mean, somehow it would work out for Joe.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we run out of time, Gabby, because we are getting up against the clock, I want to talk a little college football and pro football. College football, I guess, starts next week, right? We're out of preseason.
Yeah, we're getting there. SEC is going to be it's going to be interesting. This is a real test to see how Bud Light's going to do, because now
I saw they were up 15% this week. Their sales.
Bud Light.
Bud Light sales were up 15% this week.
I didn't see
according
that.
to the New York Post.
I didn't see that.
The
But you know what? The real telltale sign will be when people go out and tailgate. When they go out 4 hours before game time, I want to know. I want to see the people in the SEC drinking Bud Light. I just want to see it. So I think
they're going to struggle.
Yeah, they are, because no one's buying it. No one's buying cases. I see it in the supermarkets are losing it. So that's going to be a telltale sign. But meanwhile, it's interesting the way whole college football is. All these people that switch teams, because you're allowed to switch teams now in college, almost like free agents. And all the conferences are disbanding. Like the Pac-10 is no longer. There's only like 2 teams in the Pac-10. So, you're going to see your Georgias, your Alabamas, hopefully Penn State will try to do something this year. Your Michigans.
How about professional football? Who are you picking for the big dance this year besides the Eagles? I know you're a big Eagles guy, Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, New England's not doing so great. Since
I would think that believe it or not, I think the Eagles are going to be in the Super Bowl, and I think that it's going to be Buffalo
was great last year.
Or the Miami Dolphins. Or the Miami Dolphins. And wow. I don't like the Miami Dolphins, and their quarterback could end up getting hurt, and if he gets hurt, don't be surprised if Tom Brady gets that phone call to come to Miami, since his house is only 15 minutes from the stadium.
No, but he's dating some super hot supermodel now. I saw him.
He's not at practice. He doesn't have a practice. He's allowed to date her. That was Bradley Cooper's ex-girl.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the photographers right outside the hotel. He came out one door, she came out the other. You can't fool these guys. I mean, they know everything that's going on.
When the Eagles when the Eagles beat New England in the Super Bowl, that last Super Bowl they both played in, Bradley Cooper was with that arena. She was at the game as a guest of Jeffrey Lurie and Bradley Cooper, and she was cheering against Tom Brady. Look how life changes like that. Now all of a sudden,
she's with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy. But so the NFL this year will be exciting. I think a couple games are on Amazon, right? I mean, they're splitting it up, but I don't know how these announcers. I like do you like some of the announcers are great and some suck, and when they have all these different Fox, CBS, Amazon, it's a question of whether who's calling the game, whether you're really going to enjoy the game.
Well, I can't stand listening to Troy Aikman and Tony Romo.
You don't think Troy Aikman's good?
Ugh, they're homers. If you're an Eagles fan, you got to listen to them. They're like, I can't even listen to them. Seriously, I can't listen to the 2 Dallas Cowboy quarterbacks. I think they stink.
Right.
And Romo was good the first year, and then they thought he was so great that they overpaid him. It's funny that the money that they're getting. I mean, you talk about football. I'll give you another football. Apple just paid $2.5 billion to cover soccer because of Messi, and everybody wants to know why Messi is, came to this.
So tell our 83,000 fans who Messi is for you folks that don't. Soccer's really not that popular.
He's one of the top, probably 3 or 4 greatest soccer players that has ever played. Maybe top 5.
Like Pele.
Yeah, top 5, I would put him up there. It's hard to ever say best. You can't even say that in football. It's hard. But he's not at he's sort of still in his prime, but like he's on the way down. He's on the back 9 of his career, but he's in Miami and he's playing. I'm not sure if he's getting like 45 million. They haven't lost a game. They didn't win one game before he came, and they haven't lost a game since he's here.
Well, it's like he's playing a high school team. I mean, this guy.
It shows you how bad the league is. I mean, there's one 5'6" guy came into this league, and basically, it's like sort of like having LeBron James going up against a high school team, and it's ridiculous. But he got a percentage of this TV contract. So Messi, this one player, got a piece of this $2.5 billion deal. So, which is kind of crazy that's the real salary. I mean, I don't know how much, if he got 10%, that's a lot of money that he got for playing here.
It's $250 million.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's more than what that's more than what Miami's paying him.
But you have to acknowledge that, he goes to a stadium, the stadium sells out, the seat prices are insane. I mean, he brings value.
He brings value. Look what Philadelphia did. They were going crazy when Miami just went up there. How about you talk about value? Did you read that Taylor Swift did $2.2 billion, is like bringing in $2.2 billion worth of revenue on this tour? I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, the people that are singing every single word of every song in the concert, outside the stadium, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it.
My son Charlie saw her twice this summer. I mean, traveled to North Carolina just to see her. I mean, it's the following is unbelievable. And, there's huge controversies over how the tickets are sold, the price of these tickets. It's just a shit show with this Taylor's. It's so much money. Everything's so much money with her. I
mean, like, look at her and look at Kanye right now. He took that like award away from her. He's like walking barefoot somewhere in in France right now. I mean, he's like everybody's just leaving him alone right now.
But I think he's on the comeback trail. They're the Adidas sold those Yeezy sneakers, in a big sale. They ended up getting 300 or 400 million for them, right?
Yeah, but then now they're not selling them, and I think he's boycotting by going shoeless now. Looks like he needs.
That's why he's going shoeless.
I don't know. I'm guessing, but he needs a podiatrist. You see those? He has those corners. He needs a podiatrist or something.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so. I mean, look at what a mess.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like. Wait, you need to. You know what? This Donald Trump is. He was supposed to come on as our guest, but these indictments.
I know.
I mean, he keeps setting us back. I mean, it's every time he's ready to come on, another indictment comes and he's like has to delay us.
So 4 times, we tentatively had him scheduled, and then every week he gets another indictment for a call-in. It wasn't an in-person. Well, in our pod studio where you are, there's only room for 4 people. I mean, he couldn't come in with his 200 bodyguards, but yeah, we're kind of screwed.
Well, I got to tell you something. In this last one, by the way, in Atlanta, I just got to tell you. There was a TV show years ago. It was called Carter Country. It took place in a little, Georgia courthouse with the little mayor who, was running it. Did you see these people working this court at midnight? I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean...
But he's got a problem there because he's got 18 other people indicted with him, and they'll get somebody to say something. There'll be a rap.
He's going to beat all of it. I'm telling you, the country is going to be so shocked when they find out that he's going to beat all these things. That's my take on it.
But they have one. It just shows you how crooked this is. One of his court dates is on Super Tuesday. Where they vote. What is it? 6 or 8 states. In one day,
right?
He has a court date that day,
right?
He has to be in court. I mean, how crooked is that? I mean, really?
Well, that's the game plan because I think Joe, there's going to be news coming out next week, so he's going to be in trouble. I mean, with
the archives, he's in trouble.
He's going to be in trouble, and Newsom has nothing to run on. I mean, take a look, like we just discussed earlier. Look at California. I mean, could you imagine him saying to the rest of the country, "Hey, let me do for you what I do for California.
Right.
I mean, like, so that he's done.
I thought we were going to have Josh Shapiro run as our next president, and that way Alan Dom could skip being a senator and go right to governor. Oh no, I
No,
guess the
no.
lieutenant.
No, he
Yeah,
could,
yeah.
if he ever ran, he could choose him to be his running mate, but he should go to the Senate. I'm telling you, if Josh Shapiro did the right thing, and I'm telling you, it's a no-brainer, because we have no one now. We have a someone that's like, that can't talk. So anybody would be, a German Shepherd would be better than Fetterman. So just put a Democrat in there, in Alan Dom, business savvy. He wants what's best for Philadelphia. And
The Dominator.
and he would be great for Pennsylvania. And you know what? You talk about a uniter. Republicans and Democrats would both be for him. Let's see what he can do. I mean, we know what Fetterman can do. He just, it's unbelievable.
He can put a hoodie on. Anyway, let me give us a plug. We are now the Cutty and Govy. One word, Cutty and Govy. That's how you're going to find us on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And we are still going to use Unbandaged in our banter, but our sign to find us on any of these social medias is Cutty and Govy. Anyway, Govy, I have maybe 2 more weeks up here. It's a pleasant 68 degrees right now. How hot is it in South Florida?
It's not that bad. It's like 88, but it's like a little overcast. But we're getting ready for that hurricane season. So, 2 weeks, who knows where I'll be.
Right, 88 and the sun feels like 116.
not in the water, not in the pool, by the ocean. It's okay.
All right, Govy, you have a great week.
You too.
And I'll talk to you next week.
All right, Cutty,
Take
see
care.
ya.
Away from the devil. I'm only